David has never before heard anyone say that word, parlor, to describe a room in a house. He's read it in stories from English class, though, and knows what one is. The chairs are formal and hard as a rock, just as you'd expect. "I suppose you're here to find out about the old days," Mr. Hart says. His voice is raspy-sounding, as if he doesn't use it much. "I am." "Must be the liquor prohibition back in the 1920s you're interested in. Rum runners and hijackers, fast boats, and dark nights." "Yes, sir." "I wasn't in it." "You weren't?" David frowns. "I heard you were." "I wasn't." "Well, I guess that's that," Mr. Hart says. "Sorry to disappoint you." "Did you know anyone who was?" David asks. "I might have." Mr. Hart's glasses glint again. "Could you talk about them?" "No." That was the end of their first meeting. A week later, David tries again. He's done some research this time, found a newspaper article from 1929 about the Coast Guard gunning down some unarmed rum runners, and learned the names of beaches around there where the liquor was brought in. The first rum runners were local fishermen who wanted to make an extra buck for their families. They'd sneak cases of booze on shore off boats that brought the stuff down from Canada or up from the Bahamas. But there was too much money to be made, as there is in the drug trade today. Hardened criminals came in and formed gangs. People were shot up and murdered. The business turned vicious. "My wife's gone out. We can sit in the kitchen," Mr. Hart says this time. When they settle, David has his plan of attack ready. "I don't want to bother you, but I read about some things and wondered if I could check them out with you. Nothing personal, just some facts." "Such as?" The old man's eyes are wary. "Was Brown's Beach a drop for liquor? I read it was." "Well, I guess there's no harm in agreeing to that. Everybody in town knew it." "And were there hidden storage cellars under the floor of the old barn out behind Riley's General Store, across from the church? You know where I mean?" "They're still there, as far as I know." "One other thing," David says. "There was a famous rum-running boat around here named the Black Duck." That was the end of their second meeting. The man closes up, won't even make eye contact. He says his heart's acting funny and he's got to take a pill. 5 minutes later, David is heading back out the driveway. He hitches home this time rather than wait for his mother. He's touched on something, he knows it. There's a story there. How to pry it out of the old geezer. He's still wondering a week later when, surprise of all surprises, Mr. Hart calls him. He's managed to ferret out David's home number from among the dozens of Petersons in the telephone book. "I'll talk to you a bit. An old friend of mine is ill. You've been on my mind." David can't see the connection between himself and some old friend, but he gets a ride over there as soon as he can. His father drives him this time, grumbling, "You're making me late. What's wrong with riding a bicycle? In my day, we went everywhere under our own steam." David doesn't answer. In a year and a half, he'll be old enough to drive himself and won't need to put up with irritating comments like this. "Sorry about your friend being sick," he says to Mr. Hart. They're in the kitchen again. The wife has gone away to visit her brother out of state. "Took a turn for the worse the beginning of the week," Mr. Hart says. "Jeddy Mackenzie. He and I grew up together here. His dad used to be police chief in this town." He gazes speculatively at David. "Ever hear of Chief Ralph Mackenzie?" David says no. "Well, that was way back, during these Prohibition days you're so interested in. The law against liquor got passed and the government dumped it on the local cops to enforce. That was a laugh. What did they think would happen? Afterward, Jeddy moved away to North Carolina. I always hoped I'd see him again. We were close at one time, had adventures." "What adventures?" David asks. Mr. Hart's eyes flick over him as if he still has grave doubts about this interview. He goes ahead anyway. "Ever seen a dead body?" David shakes his head. "We found one washed up down on Coulter's Beach."